Yo, welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I don't got that voice like you do, man. You got that
It's
voice.
all good. You got that voice too, bro. Yo, welcome
Oh,
back
man.
to another Knicks Corner with your main man, Coach Fa.
Danny B. And we got a barn burner for all y'all today.
Barn
We're going to,
Burner.
that's right. We're going across the pond, going all the way to the United Kingdom. So stay tuned. We're going to drop the theme song, the Knicks Corner Pod theme song. And
And
we're
we'll
going to
be
be
right back with the
right back, right back.
International Men of Knickstery.
What is up, Coach? How you doing, man?
Man, so far so good. It's another beautiful Saturday in the building.
Yes, it is, man. Yes, it is. Except it's beautiful only for a short bit because obviously we're getting this crazy hurricane coming through. So after
Yeah.
after we jump off this, man, I got to go batten down the hatches. You know.
Yeah, I hear you. Be safe out there. I'm hoping it doesn't hit Jers too bad because I want to barbecue later. But even if it does, I might still spark up coals because I'm just that kind of
Yo, as long as
guy.
you got an overhang, you're good. You know.
Indeed, I don't. I'm gonna figure it out though with an umbrella and some sausages. So, all
That's
right.
what's up, man.
Being that we got a 30-minute show and we've got these wonderful guests from not here. I just want to dive in, bring them in. I mean, again, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some marvelous UK and Scotland folk coming on, and just knowing that Knicks fans are abroad and everywhere is just so dope. It's just got to be, that this is just so far-reaching, and the passion is there because these guys are passionate. Oh, and just as a don't freak out, ladies and gentlemen, if you see a Celtics jersey, it's okay. It's okay. I want to
It
preface
is.
it
It's good.
now. Don't get surprised. It's okay.
Nah, Rich got love for the Knicks. Rich got love for the Knicks.
So
He'll
you know
explain.
what, Danny? I'm gonna start with Rich. Introduce Rich as we go. Bang.
Welcome,
Good
Rich
evening.
Barrett. Absolutely, man. Please.
Bang.
Knicks
Evening.
UK Across the Pond podcast in the house.
Bang. This is
Scott,
fun.
what is up, man? And we're missing one member of the team. We got to give a shout out to Cal. Wish he could be
Yes.
here with us, but we'll definitely have to do this another time down the line and bring him out so we get the whole representation on the stage. You know.
And big shout out to
Um,
Fraz. I know Fraz is going through some things right now, but Fraz is definitely UK's finest with us too. So
we
big
got
shouts, my man.
lots of folks across the UK, man. Lots of folks across the pond. That's for sure. Yeah, so why don't we do this? Let's go around the room and you let you guys introduce yourselves. You know what you guys do, and and tell the people what's up.
All right, so we'll
Let's
start
start
with
with Rich.
Rich, and then
Yeah,
we'll go to Knicks UK, then we'll go to Scott K.
Cool. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rich Barrett, or Rich Barrett1 on Twitter. I contribute to the almighty NBA UK fans on Twitter and Instagram. We're like a hub for all of the NBA UK fans in the UK, obviously, and we've got followers all over the world. So yeah, we do our content as well. Give us a follow. So it's at NBA_UK fans. It's on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, we just love talking about basketball. We love watching basketball at stupid times in the morning. We just love the game. I've loved it for years, since the 90s Bulls. So yeah, that's me.
Right on. Thank you so much, Rich, and definitely give Rich and his followers a follow. Give that podcast its due. And now,
Right, evening, fellas. I'm Martin. I run the Knicks UK Twitter handle. Massive Knicks fan from early 2010s. Fell in love with the mellow-led Knicks, and for my sins, I've been here ever since.
well, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you most definitely. And now, what's happening, Scott?
Aye,
Scott,
there,
what's
guy.
going on?
Aye, sorry about that wee bit of delay there. I'm Scott. I'm from Paisley in Scotland. I've been a Knicks fan since the early 90s. Fell in love with basketball through Michael Jordan, but the Knicks became my team, and they've been my team ever since the early 90s. And my love for the Knicks grows stronger every day. And going across the pond podcast with Martin and with Callum as well, which I really enjoy doing.
Right on. Right on. Man,
Okay,
okay.
man. I'm
Without
glad we
sounding
were
like
able
a
to-
homer, I love y'all's accents. I'm sorry. I really do. I'm already enjoying this show so much.
You've got
like,
you've got the full spectrum.
Yes.
Yep.
And my wife,
We definitely do.
she travels for work, and last year she was in Scotland, as a matter of fact, and she loves Scotland, bro. I gotta go. She's gonna
You have
take
to.
me.
You
Yeah,
have to come. It's a nice country.
yeah, she loves it. So
It's
I
always
love it.
wet. It's always wet and cold, but it's nice.
It's always wet and cold. I hear. All right, so let's start with. You know what? Let's start backwards and go forward. So let's start with our second year players, IQ and Obi. Just your vibes on where they are right now and where do you think they can go next year?
Why don't we, Scott? Why don't you start it off for us? Let's get the, the UK.
Let's get Scotland in the building.
International goggles on.
I think with IQ, he started really well. He started on fire because it wasn't expected where we drafted him, and nobody was expecting that from him. But he came in and he started really well. He was getting a lot of minutes under Tibbs, and I thought this guy's very exciting. He kind of tailed off a wee bit, but he still got the minutes, and he's learning from players like D Rose, which is really good. But I thought he performed well throughout last season. Obi, on the other hand, he came in after being drafted at number 8. And we had a lot of hype for Obi, but he kind of struggled at the start. I don't know if it was just settling in because he was an ex-boy or just all different factors, but he kind of struggled. Didn't get as many minutes, maybe only getting 5 to 8 minutes sometimes, which is hard for a young guy to do. But watching him near the end of the season, he started coming into his own a wee bit. And it's also very hard for him because Julius is there. So Julius is a man we got in. Obi's very similar. So I see Obi playing more maybe defensive wise. I think he could do a defensive job very well, Obi, because his size and his physique. But watching him in the Summer League, I was really impressed. So hopefully, by getting the Summer League under his belt, he'll come back this season with a wee bit more confidence in himself and a belief and go further forward, because I think there's a player there, and I think we just have to keep progressing with him and keep supporting him and just keep telling him to grow.
Right on.
Definitely. Absolutely. What about you, Martin? What are you thinking?
I think that aside from how they played last year, I think they've both been involved in actually creating the culture. Both workers, IQ's putting up shots after games, spending the summer with Obi. Obi was drafted as the most, in inverted commas, NBA ready player in that draft, and I don't think he was. I think he needed that summer. He needed the time with Kenny Payne. He needed to sort of bed himself in. And I think we're going to reap the benefits with Obi next year, because he looked a far different player in Summer League, more aggressive. He was trying out, new moves. And I really enjoyed his Summer League. Yeah, the three isn't consistent, but you can see it's there. And with IQ, I mean, he's that just spark plug, isn't he, off the bench? He can go off for 15, 20 a night, and he has those ups and downs in relation to his shooting, but you see in the Summer League that his playmaking sort of took a step up as well. And I'm sure we're going to get into Kemba, I'm sure we're going to get into D Rose, but he showed during the course of the Summer League that he could be that third string point guard and sort of take on some of the ball handling, create shots for others. So I mean, I loved what I saw last year, but I think that's only the beginning. I think we're going to see a level up this year from both IQ and Obi.
All right. Appreciate that. Hey, Rich, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think obviously I do watch some Knicks games. There's certain teams that that don't get my focus. Maybe some of the teams doing more rebuilding, but I did watch quite a few Knicks games last year. It's that classic thing, isn't it? You take two guys in the draft. One you take highest, doesn't live up to expectations, and the guy you take a little bit lower does big things and gets you really excited. I love the way that the fans engage with IQ as well, like some of the acronyms and the fan clubs and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. I'm not surprised Obi Toppin had a quieter season. I think the kid has a big future if things are done right, and I think the Knicks organization are moving towards an organization that are doing things a lot better than they have done in previous years. Player development, that sort of thing. And we've seen it before, like some players come in on a rookie season, have a hot season, and then the next season they go cold, they go a little bit colder. Like Tatum did it. Tatum went a little bit quiet in his second year.
He did.
I can kind of see if you give Obi the minutes, you might see it the other way around, and you get some pleasant surprises. I know the kid wants the alley-oop all the time, likes to be a bit showtime, but you know, I think he's got a good ceiling, and he could be a real valuable piece for you guys.
Well, I know you at the beginning of all this, Rich told us that he didn't see the summer league. I would suggest hitting a couple of the Knicks YouTubes just to see what Obi has done, because he's literally done what you just asked in summer league.
Yeah,
he did the alleys, but he has post moves. He showed dribble moves. He showed a bunch of different things that we haven't seen as
like shooting a corner three, almost making it look effortlessly. When I'm sure you remember a lot of times last season where you see him throw it up from the corner, and sometimes it would go awry, and it wouldn't really hit its mark. But his form looked a lot better. He just looked way more confident. He looked just way more comfortable within his own game. So it was a pleasant surprise, and not even so much a surprise, but just a pleasant thing to see.
And his leadership.
Yeah, him and IQ, super vocal.
Yeah, they were definitely training the young pups, so to speak. So I agree with all of you that I also feel like IQ was the highlight during the season. But then during the playoffs, that's when Obi started stepping into his light. And now we see them both in the summer league. So I feel like off the bench, our bench is getting stronger. And with these guys able to do what they do, and I know that the Kenny Payne and Johnny Bryant and them, the whole coaching core, they already see it. They already know what's happening. Tibbs was literally coaching IQ after games during summer league. He would come down from the stands and go talk to him right there on the court during summer league and coach him up at the end of games. So everybody is 1,000% invested in the progression of our second year players, and I feel like they're equally involved in the progression of our draft picks. So let's get into that. And this time, I want to start with Danny.
Okay. Oh man, I love our draft picks. I really do. I'm going to start in the order that you see it at the bottom of the screen, right? So it goes McBride, Grimes, and Sims. Deuce McBride. First of all, the first game he came out, right? We're kind of just sitting back, waiting to see what he's got, and this kid's defensive intensity was just through the roof. And I mean, on point. Like Marcus Smart type of just in your face, following every step without intruding too much. He was right there, lock and step. And I want to say by like the mid-second game, by the third game, he was starting to gain more confidence in his threes. And you saw the first two games, right? It's just his type of game. You saw him take the ball up. You'd see him hezzy kind of, a little bit outside of the three. And he had the shot, but he would just not take it. He would kind of opt to make a different play, whether it was put the ball, on the floor and keep going or dish it off. And by that third game, the end of it, he started shooting and it was going in. And he's just been a pleasure to watch. He really, I feel like, can slip into, a backup to a backup PG role and kind of fit right in almost right away. I really think so. I'm going to go next to Grimes. And Grimes definitely was, I want to say, the last of this group, at least, to kind of show out. He started off a little bit slow. He always had that stroke, though. The form was just, when you expect to see an NBA ready form, shooting wise, he's got it. It was just perfect.
You're waiting to see it.
Yeah, and it started going down. He started shooting. In the last game that we played 6 games, the Knicks, in summer league, whereas almost everybody else actually, they did play 5 games. So we got to see a little bit more of our guys, and it gave them a little bit more of an opportunity to continue building on what they've been doing and solidify, their confidence, and it showed. And Sims just blew my mind. Just from game one, this kid he's a beast. He's huge. He's got an incredible vertical. Guy could pretty much jump up and touch the sky, just effortlessly. On top of that presence there, he can put the ball on the floor. He can dribble. He's got a hook shot. I saw him attempt a 3-point shot, for crying out loud. I mean, what center at that height and that he's a total package. And I was talking to Jay Boogie last night on Twitter, and he's like, what did he call him, man? He called him something funny. But he's a monster, man. He's a beast, and I'm looking forward to seeing it translate in the league. I think if you looked at the Knicks and what they were doing last season, and I've said this a lot of times in the last couple of weeks, right? When Mitch got hurt and Nerlens had to step up, obviously we had Taj there to back him up, but what else did we do? We got Norvel Pell, we brought over John Henson, and you know what I mean? There was options. So getting a kid like Sims, I think, was incredibly important, and I feel like we definitely hit the lotto with this kid. I think his ceiling is just immense. So I'm looking forward to how we integrate all 3 of them within the dynamic of our team as a whole, this season. We know how Tibbs is as a coach, but I think that we'll still find ways to throw them in the mix, whether it's very far and few between. I still see, us getting it done a little bit.
Bang. Now, Knicks for life says, I agree. I like Obi's aggressive play, but I don't put much stock in it. Obi did exactly what he did against guys at Dayton. He dominated those college guys. Summer League is basically those guys.
I get
that.
No,
I feel you. I feel
fair.
you.
It's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
But what we didn't see from Obi last year was the mindset. So what we did see is the mindset. He may not be flexing and finessing over guys this season, but with that mindset, he will attack. And that's the point. That's what we want. We're not worried about point production in Summer League, but we're worried about new moves, confidence, growth. You know what I mean? Maturity. Those things. Those things I just feel like we definitely saw from Obi. Thanks for that, my brother, full life. Now, let's head on over to Martin.
Let's go across the pond.
Deuce Mcbride, I mean, God, how can you not love that kid? He's a Tibbs point guard. He's shoots a 3. He was in his bag in the mid-range. And the defense, man, picking up full court, locking guys up. He's that point guard the Knicks probably need when Kemba or Rose isn't going to be out there. I know I mentioned about IQ, sort of taking the ball handling, but you can slot in at the 1 or 2 because of the shooting, and that defense, man, he's going to pick up in. He's going to get minutes. I think if the Knicks, when the Knicks make the playoffs, he's one of those guys who. He's going to be like Taj, like we saw with Taj last year. He steps up. He's that gritty player. He's that guy who's going to fight for every. But I mean, the guys are dribbling up towards Deuce, and he's ripping the ball out of their arms. It's crazy. Grimes started slow. As the Summer League went on, he got more confident. The shot was going in. As Danny said, the shot's beautiful, high release, difficult to guard. And he started putting the ball on the deck as well in the last game, showing a bit of creativity. There was a couple of nice passes, and Jericho Sims, as you say, probably in the second round, one of the steals. Dude can jump out of the gym. He's got that sky hook, as Danny said, was beautiful. He really active around the rim. There's a few times where there's sort of a few bodies on him, and he sort of just took his time and finished. And sometimes I think when we saw Mitch in the first season, there wasn't that maturity and that ability to do that. And I think we've seen it with Sims. And I'm obviously not saying Sims is a better player than Mitch or Robinson, but there's something offensively where he looks a little bit more polished than Mitch does. And as you say, if he can hit the 3 or take the 3, or at least give defenses something to think about there, then what a player we've got at 58. But I love the draft. I love the nuance in terms of trading back and getting their guys and collecting assets for this monster trade that's going to be down the line. So, Leon Rose, Worldwide West, all the rest of the front office. What a great job they did for the draft.
Bang. All right, Scotty, how did you feel about our new draft picks?
I love the jersey, by the way.
Yeah,
That's
man.
That's a McBride jersey. I actually got it thing made. I've got his name in the back already. He's just here. The draft, I wasn't too sure about the guys we drafted, to be honest with you. So I done a lot of research on him, watched him, and McBride's just immense. He's just amazing, especially his defence. The game I watched against, he was on Sharif Cooper, and he wasn't letting the boy get away from him at all. And that's what we need, especially when we're playing against players like Trey Young, etc. We don't have somebody who could have done that last season, but
Right.
he's just so intensive. He's constantly in your face, but he doesn't give a lot of fouls away, which I like. And I just think the boy's full of confidence. He's so confident in his own ability, but he's not big headed, he's not arrogant because he's always wanting to improve. Even when he plays well, he says to him, you hear him saying to himself after interviews, I done okay, but I want to do better. And that's what I like about him. He's wanting to improve every game, even when even when we know he plays well. And Grimes, he started slow, like he says, but watching him shoot, I see a lot of comparisons on Twitter and on social media with Alan Houston, and you can see that with the way he shoots the ball. He's very relaxed. He's got a very good shot on him, and just I think he's just the type of guy who'll come into his own eventually. He'll just work his way into the setup. He'll maybe do it a lot slower than McBride. Maybe he's not as confident. Maybe he's not as outgoing, but he will come in. But Sims, my God, I just didn't know what to expect. But this guy's a monster. A
He really is.
monster.
He is. What would you even go as far as to say similar to a Loch Ness monster?
Well, now we got a Loch Ness monster. So now, yes, twin towers of monstrosity.
And what you like about him, we drafted him at 58, but he's so confident and he's got so good hands on him. I mean, we were slagging Noel last season because sometimes we got for a shot or out for an alley when he was struggling with the ball, catch the ball, etc. I know Noel was good at blocking, but on the offence he was struggling at times. But Sims looks so confident when the ball comes to him, and for a guy that's just in college, I just think he's amazing. Especially getting him at 50, he could be actually a very good pick for us long term because I think if he can beast himself up in the gym and get more physical, he'll be a very solid pick for us, and a lot of guys will fear going up against him.
Absolutely, I definitely agree with you on that. That's for sure. Just to touch base, Rich, real quick before I even say that, I just want to let you know we're definitely getting to you, man. Because once we get past these draft picks, we're definitely going to be looking at some of our free agency moves, which obviously I feel like
that's your bag. So we got you, brother.
Definitely, but shout out to Knicks for life for that comment there. The one thing that I would say, his comment, if you could throw it back up on the screen, Coach. I don't got I'm in full screen right now. But he was touching on Deuce and trying to get him, minutes. And I'll tell you the one way that I see that happening is obviously if Kemba and Rose or Rose and Kemba, however you look at it, are going to split the majority of the minutes. There's going to be some left over. You know what I mean? You could find a few minutes here and there to easily give the Deuce, and whoever else that he's going to throw in the mix, because he's going to throw IQ out there. He's going to throw Burks out there at some point in the position during the game. Whether
Burks is going to be 3. So
I think so too, but I feel like in the beginning, Tibbs is still going to roll out similar lineups to what we saw last season, just to see the mesh. You know what I mean?
What I think is,
I don't think it'll stick. But
I think McBride and IQ will see time at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. In my mind, right, I don't see them being in those positions because with McBride in the fold, backing up Kemba and Rose, it leaves IQ to play the two, no problem. And I get that, totally get that. But what I'm saying is in Tibbs's mentality, he's going to still roll off of ideas that he had last season just to see the dynamics and the gameplay, and the mix of the play.
He might do that in preseason.
Back. Yes, early
I don't,
on.
but yeah, in preseason, but I don't think he's going to do that regular season. By then,
I think so. I want to say like the first maybe 5 to 8 games. I think he's going to tinker with things like that, and that's all I mean. I don't mean anything further than that because I am so locked in at Fournier, at the 2, and then IQ coming back in after that, and
3.
Right, the 3. I am so cool with leaving IQ to just play the 2
and have his
and
body
have
and
those
mind free to
PG
just
moments
shoot
within
and
his
kill
play.
it.
Yes, 100%, man, 100%. Yeah,
All right.
what
So
I meant
let's
is
do this.
Let's 3 and
let's get to this quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the free agency moves, and
Kemba Walker,
even more. So we'll be right back after
Fournier.
this. It's the fourth quarter. We're down by 1. No seconds left. And you gotta eat your breakfast. So what you gotta get is that RJ Barrett crunch time. That's right, boys and girls, it's crunch time. Get your wonderful breakfast on right before school. You're not gonna be late because the food is gonna just devour itself and just evaporate right in your mouth and give you all the nutrition you need because it's crunch time. That's right. RJ Barrett, crunch time, straight from Kellogg's and them. The folks that gave you them Rice Krispies and things. You feel me? Crunch time, baby. Go get you a bowl, go get you 2. Go win for your team, win for your school. Crunch time.
That commercial was so timely. Can I just tell you, like, in my spare time when I'm doing random things, like walking to the bathroom or whatever, walking to my car, like weird things pop in my head, right? So I pictured this commercial yesterday. So it's weird that you just played it. But not only that, I'm thinking like, you remember the cereal Kicks? I don't know if this was a
very much so
over there, but over here there was this like corn type of ball called Kicks.
Yes.
And I was just thinking like, hello, like Knicks, you know what I'm saying? Basketballs with the Knicks logo on. I don't know, man. I'm out there. But bringing it back in, man. So we covered, the draft and everything like that, summer league, what we saw there. And obviously during the midst of all of this, there was still a lot of speculation on what type of moves we would make. And obviously we saw Oklahoma City buy out Kemba Walker, and then the Knicks look to sign him without having to give up any assets. We just outright signed him. And then we were able to pull off Evan Fournier also. So 2 huge upgrades that actually both spent time together and had a relationship in Boston, which our very own Rich Barrett here has a lot of experience with. And I definitely am curious to hear your takes on it because I just put out a tweet last night, right? Because I'm thinking, like I said, randomly, and it just kind of sank in last night that we really upgraded from, Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock. And I love Bullock, no problem whatsoever. He killed it for us last season, but it's just a straight up upgrade.
I'll miss him, and thank you for everything, and I'll miss you.
Thank you. We appreciate you. You know what we say, man. Once a Knick, always a Knick.
Always a Knick, exactly.
It is what it is, man. And that applies to everybody.
Frank Elakina.
Absolutely. Shouts to Frank. And the Frank Hive.
Is Elfrid Payton? And I just realized my mic was all the way over there this whole time.
We still heard you.
I'm glad, because I'm
loud. Voice, man. That voice just travels. You know what I mean?
Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, right? Like, but is Elfrid Payton under that too? We're going to get back to the point, but I just want to
listen, I keep it real at all times. Once a Knick,
always a Knick.
There's no loopholes. There's no, ifs, ands, or buts. It's straight up.
Elf is still coming to the picnic.
It is what it is, But so yeah, man, it's just what an upgrade, man. Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, and so I put out a tweet yesterday saying that, and we got people interacting. How did that work out for them in Boston? This and that, and my answer is Rich Barrett.
Okay, so Kemba Walker. Honestly, we're going back 2 years, right? So when Kemba signed for us in free agency, so we had the whole Kyrie Irving debacle. The whole of Celtics Twitter imploded because Kyrie decided he wanted to go to Brooklyn. I dealt with it at Christmas because I knew that he wasn't staying, because we knew he stood up on the middle of the court and said, "Oh, if you'll have me, I'll stay." I was like, really? Because, you know, Kyrie's Kyrie, and I'm not throwing no shade at Kyrie. Kyrie does some wonderful things, okay? So then we signed Kemba Walker, and I was bouncing. I was like, this is amazing. I love Kemba Walker. What a player. And the guy brought this whole different energy, this whole different vibe, and completely, like, there's a brilliant photo. If you Google it, you'll find it. And I think it's pretty much most of the Celtics. Hayward wasn't there. It was at the start of the last season, so the one that started when COVID happened. And they've all gone to the cinema, or the movie theater, as you want to call it, to watch a film together. And you've just got Kemba right in the front of this photo, just like that. And he's just a happy guy. And all the other guys are smiling. I think there was a lot of weed that had been smoked before they got into the theater. But all of the players talked about how he totally changed the dynamic of the dressing room. And like, this he's had his knee problems. We know that. We know that he is not 100% fit. But for a team that has got a depth in point guards, as you've got Derrick Rose, obviously you've got IQ, you've got McBride coming through as well. That is the perfect setup for Kemba, because the strain that the Celtics put on him minutes-wise, he can hopefully not have to take in New York. The guys come home. You've got someone who, as long as a month ago, was technically a max contract point guard for just over $8.5 million a year. Now, that's huge. That is absolutely huge, and I'm here for it. I am a massive fan of Kemba Walker. I've got, like you say about once a Nick, always a Nick, I've got nothing but positive vibes to say about him, and I want to see him flourish, and I think he will. I think the stress and the pressure on his knees will be less. I know Tibbs has got a history of like destroying players' knees and playing them too much, but I think when he's got that wealth of riches, yeah, it's going to be Kemba time, and you see a player that happy, and he's got to go home, it's going to be even better for him. So massive fingers crossed. Kemba, I thank you, and I wish you from the bottom of my heart all the best in New York City.
Bang.
Absolutely. Now, Rich, let me ask you, anything that you saw that kind of stuck out to you in terms of the play between both Kemba and Evan?
Evan's a funny one for me. I'm not a massive Fournier fan. I wasn't huge on the trade when it happened. I was like, okay, are we just trying to utilize the TPE from Hayward? Fortunately, you guys were kind enough to do it as a sign and trade, so we've managed to keep that. I do think that there is definitely, you're going to have a coherence already because of the fact that they play together. So you're going to see some of that. The chemistry will be there. We all know as well that Evan Fournier has got some bite because he absolutely shithoused Kevin Durant in that game, didn't he, in the playoffs? Was it pre-playoffs? Yeah, it was in the playoffs. Sorry, I'm putting him in a Knicks uniform already. No, it was in the playoffs. And he was just in Kevin Durant's ear, and he got Kevin Durant wound up. Now that's great. That's great for New York rivalries as well. So I think it's better. I'm happy. I'm happy that you've got him. I'm not unhappy that he's left us. But I think obviously it's like you're taking two players off a team and out of a dressing room who've already played together. That can only be a good thing chemistry-wise.
Absolutely.
And I think we'll see. We didn't see a lot of Evan. We didn't see a lot of him because obviously he wasn't with us for very long. But I expect him to do better things. He's got to have a better debut for you than he did for us. We know that. I mean, I think it was 0 for 11 from 3.
It was rough.
I wish him the best.
But you know what the funny thing is about exactly that? Kemba Walker was the first person to come right to his defense. You know what I mean, and back him up and and tell him, keep shooting, keep doing your thing. It is what it is, and sometimes shots don't fall, but it does. There's a quote everybody probably knows from the great Wayne Gretzky. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep.
Right, exactly. So that's the biggest thing to me is just keep shooting. And I feel like what he is such an integral piece to any team, really, because of his game. He has so many different abilities and assets that he brings to it in terms of his shooting, in terms of his play creating. So I feel like those are two key concepts that the Knicks needed on the floor. And to replace Reggie Bullock, I think it's an upgrade in that department. I think that the defense as a whole is going to be able to back us up. So I think we're fine there, man. I think it's going to be just exciting as hell to see Kemba Walker, first of all, walk out in a Knicks jersey, and to see our squad come back, man. You know, like we really reinvested in a lot of the guys that helped change the culture, change the perception, and you know, and change the winning mindset in the locker room. You know, and I think that goes a long way. So these two guys are great compliments to just that.
And that's a great segue, Danny, because I definitely want to touch on re-signing our own free agents, which is something that we have not really done very well in the past 10 years at all.
Sign a bunch of guys, see how they work out, and try.
And then next year we sign a bunch of other guys for a year contract, see how they work out. And then the next year we sign another bunch of Noah Vonlehs and Bobby Portises, and et cetera, et cetera.
No plan. And you could clearly see that the new regime in place is going about things very calculated, and they're doing things in a way that it's building from the bottom up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're investing in development, and we're getting it done. You know, and at the same time being able to create that winning culture on the court. So
exactly. So Scott, what do you think about them re-signing Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, and company?
Taj Gibson. We could keep
Taj
Gibson, the best player in the NBA. I just like to say, I think the re-signing's been really good because they all wanted to come back. They could have probably got other offers elsewhere for the same amount of money or maybe more, but they wanted to come back because they really enjoyed last season as a team. They had a lot of chemistry there. They had a lot of fun, and they could see, looking at the way the team are going and the back office are going, the management team are going, they could see there's something building there. And they wanted to be part of that, so that's really good to see. And Derrick Rose, I mean, I love Derrick Rose. He's one of my favourite players long before he became a Knick. And re-signing him to me was essential because if he can produce what he done last season, plus with Kemba in the team, and then we've got Deuce, it's just so exciting. It's one of these. It's going to be this season where some of the games are very late for us in the UK to watch, but I don't really want to miss any games, especially with the lineup we're going to be having this season. So right. I'm really happy they've all come back because I criticised Alec Burks a few times last season, but there's certain games he pulled out of the bag for us, so I had to eat my own words at times, but I'm happy he's back. Reggie, I'll miss Reggie because he put in a bit of effort, but like you said, Evan Fournier's an upgrade on Reggie, and yes. Elfrid Payton, he had his own issues, didn't he? So replacing him with Kemba Walker's just like night and day, because I know Kemba's had injury problems in the past, but even half fit Kemba is better than Payton, so it's a 1-1 for us. I'm looking forward to this season so much. It's probably the most I've been looking forward to this season in a long time because, like you said, Coach, every season where we were starting with new players, and we're thinking, who's this guy? Who's that guy?
Right.
And we're getting to know them again, and then they were leaving, and it was like many games we won this season will be at 500, we'll be well below it. But this season, I'm actually looking forward to this season, and this is the first in a long time. So I'm not saying we're going to do a lot because I don't want to put too much expectation in the team, but I'm looking forward to see his play.
Right Absolutely. On. I'm right there with you, Scotty, man. I can't wait. I'm looking so forward. It's that nervous anxiousness of excitement, and I love it. I love it, and it's because of the moves. It's because of the loyalty that the organization is showing. It's because of the loyalty that the players are showing. This is a breath of fresh air, and I'm digging it. What do you think, Martin?
I love it. Love Noel. He's got his limitations, but man, he came up big in the playoffs and during the regular season without Mitch. You know, he's humbling everyone at the rim. Derrick Rose, I mean, what a pickup. I think the majority of the Knicks fan base was skeptical before that trade. When he came in, he rejuvenated the bench. He was picking up after Elfrid Payton, and I'm not going to spend too much time slamming Payton. But my God, he came in and sort of got the offense going. So, Alec Burks, who, as I say, there were games where he would take over in the fourth, and he was the primary reason why the Knicks were getting those wins. The Knicks missed him massively when he went out for that period when he was out. And the Knicks have looked after their own guys. I think Coach or Danny, in your last week's pod, I think you said when you have culture, you've got to have the players who implement a culture. And it's true. Re-signing these guys who not only fit and are good basketball players, they are essentially culture setters. And going along with Obi and IQ, it was an absolute no-brainer to bring these guys back. Query the amount they're getting paid all you want. The team, I think that the team-friendly deals, particularly with the last years being non-guaranteed.
Indeed.
But yeah, it was a no-brainer to bring these guys back, and I can't wait for opening night.
Yeah, me too. And one thing that I wanted to touch on that Scott brought up was, with Kemba and these injuries and, hoping that he can sustain them. We had a Twitter Spaces conversation the other night, last, I don't even know, maybe Tuesday night, I think it was. Coach, you were there. If you guys don't know, anybody that's listening, we've been on Twitter having a Twitter Spaces conversation probably like once a week or so, where we get, a bunch of Knicks fans in the room and everybody gets a turn to come up on their stage, share their takes and, their sentiments or whatever the heck they want, what they had for dinner. It doesn't matter. We have a good time. But, one thing that came up was, Kemba with his injuries. And what I came back with was, we have a guy on our team who had a lot of problems with injuries because of his gameplay, his motor, and having to learn how to change that and adjust and still be efficient and still add to, a team and still help a team win. And Derrick Rose. And, him and Kemba obviously know each other. They've got some history going in the past. And I feel like it's a chance for Kemba to kind of pick his brain a little bit, like what worked for you in terms of, training, in terms of your mentality, your attitude that allowed you to change your game, but still keep the key elements that made you successful. And I think that it's a great dynamic between the two of them. I think that, it's something that hopefully he could utilize, So between those two guys, between Deuce, between, obviously other guys that could be plugged in also, whoever you want to, name you want to throw out, I think that will be absolutely fine at the PG position. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I thought it was a great angle. You know what I mean? Having Rose in that role in terms of learning to adapt as he got older, and Kemba, kind of at that crossroads right now. So, again, I just wanted to point that out.
Bang. Now, I want to turn the attentions just a little bit because we talked about almost every aspect of the upcoming season and the upcoming team. Where we didn't touch.
I love it because these are two guys that don't get talked about as much. One a lot less more so than the other because obviously there's a lot of talk about Mitchell Robinson at times. Like last week we saw there was a big debate on Knicks Twitter just about what are we doing with him? Does he deserve to stay and get another shot or trade bait or whatnot?
No.
But listen, I think the Knicks they're in on him right now. You know what I mean? They're going to extend that opportunity for him. So yeah, they didn't give him the bag yet, but they're going to allow him the chance to play for it.
And I think he's in on them. I
definitely think so too. Listen, you don't see their social media videos coming out, where they're talking about the schedule and the calendar and the playbooks, and you see them, marking Mitchell Robinson's playbook. He wouldn't be front and center in videos like that if things were up in the air. So they're in on him also. They are.
I mean, but he's in on them.
Absolutely.
He's not out on them looking at other teams or doing weird subtweeting and cryptic tweets and stuff.
Nah, he's putting out videos of him dribbling the ball and saying,
for the Knicks.
I appreciate Knicks Twitter, Knicks training, helping me out with my hands. So
exactly. So
and RJ, man, go, coach, get us started on RJ, please.
You know what? I want to finish on RJ. I want to know what Rich, Martin and Scott think of RJ and Mitchell real fast. I know we got an hour show. We're already 15 minutes past that, but we having a good time. So if y'all don't mind, I don't mind. So Rich, we'll start with you. What do you think of these two wonderful players?
I like Mitch. I think it's like you say. I think Danny just touched on it. Then he's just like he's doing bits and he's doing it for the Knicks. He's in on the Knicks. The Knicks are in on him. He seems to be a fan favorite as well. I've got to shout out Michelle because I know Michelle absolutely loves Mitchell Robinson as the guy.
Shout out Michelle Reed, by the way. Shout out to Michelle Reed and everybody else, man, over there. There's so many people from overseas that are always tapping in and showing love to the Knicks community. So always appreciate that.
So, Absolutely. And I think with RJ, like, obviously, my name is Richard James Barrett, so I am RJ Barrett as well. So it's okay. He's on my namesake. So I actually followed him from way back when in college. And obviously, he was consensus #1 pick, like the year before the draft was going to happen.
Yes.
And obviously, Zion had his ascension. John Morant did amazingly well as well. But I was always eyes on RJ, and I remember him getting drafted by the Knicks, and he walked. There's a clip, isn't there? He walks into the stadium and he goes, "Man, I'm a Knick," like that, and that's magical. Like, talk about players buying in, and like I just think like he's going to get incredibly good and be a very good NBA player. I don't know if it's quite all NBA level, but should be an all-star eventually. But I think that the burn is a little bit slower with him. I think he adds bits to his games year on year. So I'm really, really, really interested to see what my namesake from Canada has got in his bag for this year. And you just think, like, again, like what you guys have done in terms of the moves you made over the last 2 years. So getting D Rose, getting Kemba, getting Evan Fournier, what that does for these younger guards is immense in terms of experience, because they've got, like you said, the Knicks was a bit of a merry-go-round, revolving door of free agents. It was like, let's just sign 5 power forwards each offseason. But now the solidity is coming in, the experience is there. So I can't wait to watch RJ this year. I'm a massive fan of him anyway, obviously. But I just really excited to see what he's got coming up this year.
Indeed. All right, Martin, how do you feel about these two wonderful players?
I love RJ. The Knicks failed him in year 1. David Fizdale. Yep. My goodness, he should never coach again in the NBA. RJ Barrett, when he's sort of coming through, needed to have more space. He'd never had it. The shooting came around last year. You see him; he's a worker. Kid's a dog.
Yes, sir.
I love him. Mitchell Robinson, Mitchell Robinson is that guy where I think when the stakes go up in the playoffs, you need that type of guy. He's an athlete. He's going to make those big plays when it's needed. And I think given an opportunity to work on his game offensively, I think he can go to another level. So I think Kenny Payne working with him, RJ Barrett working with Drew Hanlon. We've got 2 guys already on the roster who are already going to improve and potentially be like new free agent signings. So RJ Barrett this year, All-Star season. Mitchell Robinson, Defensive Player of the Year. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm all about it, man. Yo, and shouts to Mitch Rob, man, and Ariel. I don't know.
I was about to get into that.
But NBA.
Before we get into that, though, I gotta hear Scotty. Before we get into that,
yeah, absolutely.
I can't really add much more to what Rich has said and Martin. RJ, I love RJ. I think since he's came to the Knicks, he's been one of the guys all the fans looked to, which was quite hard on him because a young guy when he first came, he didn't have the players round about him to help him take the first season in, so he struggled at times. But I think with the players we've got now, it's going to help RJ. Like Martin said, he's going to get more space, he's going to get more shots, but he works so hard, and he's a genuine guy on the court, off the court, and I just love RJ. I just love him to bits. As in Mitch, a healthy and fit Mitchell Robinson as an asset to our organisation, and like Martin said, through the playoffs, you will see a difference in Mitch. But even in the season itself, Mitch he's a beast as well. He's a bit like Sims. I mean, imagine having the two. He's just really fit. It's a very thing for other teams to look at and say, look at the size of these 2 guys. Do you know what I mean? And Mitch, so I just hope he comes back for this injury and he's fully fit and focused. He seems focused. He seems a really likeable guy as well, Mitch. So I hope he comes back. And I agree. Hopefully, I agree with Martin that defensive player of the year for Mitch. But I think RJ is going to have a really good season because he's getting players round about him this season, and he's going to light up the court.
Bang!
Totally agree.
I agree 1,000%, brother. Now going back to that, what Danny was alluding to the other day on Twitter, my man Ariel laid out this beautiful thread of all of Mitchell Robinson's like defensive wonderment. And the cool thing is, Mitchell Robinson saw the tweet thread. And he was like, oh, let me stop playing so I could be Defensive Player of the Year. He saw the thread and it got him motivated. I love Knicks Twitter.
It's that's why what we do is so important, because it literally helps set the stage to change the narrative. And if there's any fan base in the NBA that's needed a narrative to be changed about them, it is the Knicks. So hopefully we could, start getting more respect outside of our own. I think the time is slowly coming, man. I absolutely do.
I do as well. Now, Yehudian and Goonie had some really good questions. So since we were on the RJ topic, let's go with Goonie's question. What do you guys think RJ's primary position is going to end up being? I like him at the 3.
Me too.
Just being honest.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I just think that
he's got the frame, hasn't he?
Yes. Yeah. He's got the frame. He's got the strength. And that is a funny position where you can do a lot of things in that position. That's what I was
just going to say. Yep.
So, I mean, I think if we do that, it possibly puts, so we do that. We put him at the 3. Now, here's the problem. Is Evan coming off the bench or is he starting?
Evan's starting. Listen, this is how I see it. I think Evan's going to slide right in because Evan's not just a guard. He's a small forward also.
Right.
So I'm looking at it as he's going to just slide right in where Reggie was, straight up.
At the 2.
That's
and
why
put RJ at the 3 earlier, and that works.
And that's why I said earlier that IQ would come off the bench for a guy like Evan, because that's just how I see the dynamic working. I see
that works
coming in for a guy like RJ. You see a guy like Obi obviously coming in for for Randall. It's just how I see the dynamic working.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And we see RJ picking up the other team's 3 or primary ball handler.
Right.
Sort of Fournier playing a bit more RJ's defensive position last year with RJ taking Bullock primary assignment on the main threat of the opposing team, and that's where we're going to see the next step from RJ, I think.
Yes, I agree. Man, I wish y'all were over here so we could all just have a barbecue and watch games together.
Me too.
Definitely. That's why I like that idea that Rich was doing. We'll get to it in the next couple of minutes. But Rich, you were doing some cool things on IG, on Instagram last season, and I like those types of conversations and just there's a word I'm looking for. I can't think of it, but the interaction. That's the word I'm looking for. And that stuff's real cool, man. It absolutely is real cool. And before we get to that, I do want to touch on Yehudian's comment and question also. And he says, how do you guys think Quickly's season's going to be different than last now that we got Kemba and Rose?
And I think we kind of just touched on that a little bit between you and I.
We did. He's going to be able to concentrate more on what he does best.
Right.
That's it.
He doesn't have to see. Again, I got blasted a few weeks ago on Twitter, but that happens.
You always do, Coach.
It's my job. You know what I mean? I guess I phrase intelligent things in a way that pisses people off, but that's fine. So my thing was, why do we have to make IQ a playmaker? To me, let him be free to shoot, score, drive, floater, whatever he needs to do to be effective. He can pass the ball, but that's not necessarily his instinct. Let him play to his instincts. That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying he can't be a point guard. I'm saying being a point guard takes away from scorer's natural ability, because now they have to think more. They have to run the offense. They got to think of the plays. They got to make sure they're getting their other guys involved. There's a lot more to their thought process than shoot, score, go.
And you saw it during the summer league because he was inserted as the starting PG. So you saw in certain games just instances and stretches where he was looking a little too much instead of
it wasn't instinctual.
The flow of the game.
Right. Now, I'm not saying later on in his career it won't become instinctual, because
Right.
I do believe that it will, especially if he approaches and attacks his career the way he has so far. He'll definitely get there. But in the meantime, let him be free. You know, I mean, that to me, that is our
Get that
best
man Red
weapon.
Bull. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much. Let him have his wings.
Give him his wings, man.
What do you guys think, though?
I think the same. I think he's a shooter. Let him just go on the court and do his thing because he can create, he can shoot, he can defend as well. So
Yep.
I wouldn't put him into a bucket and say I put him into a spot and say you've got to do this and nothing else. So just let him be free because I think he's got a lot of abilities, and it will ones will come to the fore more than others. But just let him be free, let him shoot because last season that's what we like to see. Some of his 3 points for distance were really good. So I would just give him the freedom this season, let him do his thing. And I think Tibbs will, because I think Tibbs actually likes him. So I think Tibbs will because of the players we've got as well. So I think Tibbs will say, just go and express yourself.
There you go. And I think that's the other reason why Evan Fournier is here, because he's so steady and squared away. So Tibbs knows no matter what he's getting from Evan Fournier. So that allows, when the offense stagnates or something, to interject IQ, and here comes firecracker. Here comes instant offense. Here comes a different look. Yep. So
Playbook's going to look a little different this year, that's for sure. Because
Most
we have so much more tools to throw out decoys and throw out this and that and leave certain weapons open. You know what I mean? Whether it's, shooters in a corner or whether it's creating room and space for one of these guys to drive and then, have the defense collapse. That's really what it's all about, right? Is the whole point is to keep the defense moving and eventually collapse. So I think that we have a lot of tools in the bag to do so.
Bang. Yo, this has been a great conversation. We're literally getting on an hour now. So what I want to do is I want to go from Rich to Martin to Scott. Give us your platforms, tell us what you're doing, and how we can follow you.
Cool. Thanks. I already shouted it out. So you can follow me on my app, which is on the screen, at Rich Barrett 1. You will see me getting occasion ratio by Nick's Twitter as well, as Danny knows from the other day. Also, loved it. I love you guys. Also, please check out at NBA_UK fans. Danny was talking about the content we do. We do it at the same time as this is on a Saturday during the regular season. Come and join us, get involved, interact. We love the game of basketball. We love the fans of basketball of all franchises, and we just love to chat to other fans. It's awesome. So, and thank you for having me, guys. Much appreciated.
No, thank you, man, for coming. We appreciate you, brother. And anytime, I don't care, I'll wake up in the morning or whatever. If y'all want us to come on y'all show, talk to the people, we're here for you. Man. This is Knicks community, man, and it matters.
All day. And it's long overdue, I know Martin, Scott, and we've been talking for quite some time about doing something together. So I'm glad we were able to pull it in. Yeah,
Danny, great job bringing everybty together, bro.
Great job to these guys, man, coming through and working with us.
Right on. All right, Martin.
Hit it.
I just want to give a shout out to Rich and NBA UK fans. We're devoid for quite a long time in this country of great NBA coverage. We developed an online community. And the work that NBA UK fans, Rich and all the other guys over there did was sort of central to that. So shout out to Rich and those guys. In terms of me, I'm at Knicks_UK. I'm quite a vocal presence on Twitter. The NBA UK fans groups all probably despise me for some of the stuff that I say. But no, in all seriousness, I love talking hoops, love talking Knicks. Come join us. We have the Knicks Across the Pond podcast. We took a short hiatus, but we will be back in the new season, joined by Scott, who's obviously here, and Carl. And as I said, we love talking Knicks. We're going to start having guests on. We'd love to have you both on. And can't wait for the season. Look forward to it.
Bang,
shout out to Cal, the lone Knicks UK Across the Pond member who was not able to make it. He's at Cal Hutchinson, I'm pretty sure. I believe.
Yeah,
so quick plug for Cal. Scott, please take us away here, man.
Hi, my Twitter handle is NBA UK7. Just talking Knicks, any other sports in general, football, baseball, when you want to talk about, but most prominently the Knicks. I do the Across the Pond podcast with Martin and Callum, and shout out to Rich as well, plus all the guys in NBA UK, because they do a great job. And used to watch the NBA myself in the house all different times of the night, but now we're talking to guys on Twitter, meeting folk and getting to know people like Rich, like Martin, like Callum, like yourself, Coach, and Danny. It's great because even though you're sitting in other countries, somewhere different, you're talking about the same sport you enjoy and you love, and it's great to have that.
Bang. Now, before we head on out of here today, of course, our wonderful comment section, my main man for life hit me with the Uwaduzu question.
We got you, bro.
We're going to go in a quick rapid fire roundtable to answer this question. And the question is, who is the X factor on this team? The guy that if he has a breakout year, takes us over the top. Rich, who is that guy?
Come back to me. I'm thinking.
Okay. I'm saying RJ. Bang.
I like it. I absolutely like it. I'm gonna go. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say RJ too, man. Because
Bang.
you know what? If he takes the next step that he's supposed to take, I mean,
Yes, I agree.
So, all right, because I suck at making things short because I talk. All right, so I'll make this as short as I can.
That's why I
right?
said rapid fire.
Yeah, I know. I'm not good with rapid fire, man, because my mouth moves rapid fire all day anyway. But I look at it as like, right, so last year we were missing a bit of an offense, right? We were just missing offense in general. So now we upgraded, obviously. We got Kemba, we got Evan, but take those two factors out. And that's where I'm thinking, right? So what piece of the puzzle now, if takes the next step, gains us, you know, the most, the more success than we had last year. And I look at it as that being RJ. He's just the next one to, in my head, make that next step, the most likely to do so. Obviously,
Gotcha.
Quickly too, but Barrett being there more of the time on the court.
I love you, brother.
Yep.
RJ, got it. Martin, go.
If we get Charlotte Kemba Walker is the difference maker.
Okay. And Scott, what do you think?
My initial thought was RJ, just because of the pieces we've got in the team now, and he's the most underrated player in the NBA, in my opinion. He gets a lot of criticism for no reason, so I'm going with RJ.
Okay, and now back to Rich.
Okay, I'm going with Kemba because I want to see it for one, and I just
like it.
Look after his knees. You get his minutes right, and that's the difference maker.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
for me.
So for life, we feel like it's either going to be RJ or Kemba, and if they both do it, whoa! All right, so
if you want to hear me ramble on more, you just you know where to find us.
Yeah,
I can ramble on about anything, man.
Thank you guys so much. What a show, you guys, man. I love your takes. Look, we're gonna have you back on. I know it's either late or early. It's early for us. It's late for y'all, but we'll figure it out. We're gonna mash it up, and we gotta have you guys back on. Your takes are awesome. Let's do it as the season starts, so we have some games under our belt to talk about. How's that?
That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Bang.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right. Let's get it on. Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for tuning in and holding it down for the Knicks Corner. This is your man, Coach Fa.
Danny B, joined by Rich Barrett, UK Knicks across the pond. Go check them out. I appreciate you, everybody.
NBA UK 7 in the building, baby.
Let's go. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.
And with that, peace.